Morning, Harald.
Good morning, goeiedag, bonjour, moyen in Luxembourgish. I don't know if there is a special welcome in Belarus language, but welcome to our web lounge of this morning dedicated to doing a business in Belarus with the participation of our members, recognized experts in economic field, Schneider Group, with participation of Filip Vandenbroele, that I think most of you know, and Jeroom, that I see also is connected. And may I please ask you, Arkady, to keep your microphone muted during the speech of our guest speaker, because if not, it can create some interference. And I will start to present you Natalia Schulzenka, the head of Schneider Group in Minsk. Natalia, can you say us a few words about you? How many years are you working on this position? What is your practice of today? And please keep your microphone muted. I will try to do it myself, but it's not very easy. Huh? Please, Natalia.
Thank you, Oleg. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello from Belarus. My name is Natalia Schulzenka, and I'm happy to be here today and to take part in our discussion. And I'm also happy to be the director of Schneider Group in Belarus since 2009, when Mr. Ulf Schneider decided to open the office here. The core business of Schneider Group is to provide our clients who are mostly international companies, with the wide range of administrative services and best solution, like legal advising or tax advising, accounting outsourcing, and many others. And together today with my colleague Sergei Odintsov, we are ready to speak with you about how to make business here in Belarus today, what specific we have, and on what moments we should pay attention on. Yes, all of us now, we are living in turbulence time. And but despite all the complexities of the situation we currently have, we are sure that Belarus still remains an attractive market in terms of unique geographical location, well-developed infrastructure, high qualified manpower, and so-called internal offshore regimes that we have in our country. Maybe for now that's all, and I'm pleased to move my the microphone to my colleague Sergei Odintsov. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Natalia, very much. Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending our today's event. As mentioned, my name is Sergei Odintsov. I am here to represent tax and legal practice of our Minsk office. I am working with Schneider Group for the past 5.5 years. Before joining Schneider Group, I had some good experience working at big four companies in Lithuania, in Russia, and in Belarus as well. So now I would like to provide you a brief insight into current economic situation that we have. Also, I will outline key investment opportunities and doing business related matters. And mainly we'll focus on tax and other incentives. And of course, after my speech or after speech of our other speakers or presentations of our speakers, we would be happy to address all the questions that you might potentially have concerning Belarus. So if you don't mind, we can start our brief introduction concerning economic situation. So just some figures for your understanding. What we have currently, we have, according to the government, so we have official inflation rate, which is 7.7% constituted for the past year. We also have national debt grew by a third over the past year. So we have gold reserves decreased by approximately $2 billion. And of course, we are expecting the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic, which is coming. And nevertheless, we are trying to survive, and we are very well prepared for this new wave. So despite the above mentioned, the country still offers good opportunities for running a business, which we will further address in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So let us speak about the most promising business sectors for placing your investments in the country. From our experience and from the experience of our business partners, these are manufacturing, research and development activities, engineering, logistics, data processing, e-commerce, retail and consumer, forestry, pharmaceuticals, and many others, definitely. So depending on your business, you may further address particular question to us, how to develop the business in Belarus, or which market sector to choose, and so on and so forth. So state currently offers a number of preferential regulatory regimes and tax incentives in Belarus. And these are mainly depend on the model of your business and the location of your business. For instance, if your business belongs to or relates to IT, software development, IT-related activities, you may consider benefiting from tax incentives provided by the specific treatment of high-tech park in Belarus, also known as the most significant IT cluster in Eastern Europe. We also have free economic zones and some specific economic zones, like, for instance, Balbasova near Orsha. I believe our colleague Filip would address this matter in more detail. And we also have industrial park, and all these specific territories can be considered for running localization or greenfield or other greenfield projects or some related business initiatives. We also have something to offer for businesses located in small and in small towns and territories. These are mainly for small and mid-sized businesses. And of course, we have to offer to some specific businesses to join the country by signing investment or public-private partnership agreement. These can be considered as a legal mechanism to run infrastructure project. And each of the above described preferential treatments provides astonishing pack of tax and other incentives, which are potentially tailored to support your constant growth and success on the market. Speaking about high-tech park, for those of you who haven't heard about this IT cluster in Belarus, just a brief overview. We have high-tech park that has been working on the territory for more than 15 years. Yes, and currently we have about more than 1,000 registered residents in high-tech park, with the total annual revenue exceeding $2.5 billion. These are figures for 2020. So what is needed to become a high-tech park resident? Firstly, you need to set up a company in Belarus, somewhere in Belarus, not within the park area or within the park territory, because the park is mainly virtual park. So you need first to set up an entity in Belarus. Afterward, you need to prepare a business plan for your IT project and apply for a high-tech park membership. From our experience, it generally takes up to, let's say, from 1 to 3 months to obtain a high-tech park membership. What are the benefits? So we can compare the tax effects from benefits provided by high-tech park treatment and general tax exposure. Frankly speaking, high-tech park residents are exempted from all corporate taxes, which we have in Belarus, and have to pay only 1% tax on revenue on quarterly basis. So no taxes, only 1% tax on quarterly basis. Another significant territory to consider is Great Stone, Belarusian Chinese Park, industrial park. These are only one park that you have in Belarus currently, and the park located somehow around 40 kilometers far from Minsk. And generally, the place in your business venture or business facilities within the park area is a good place for localization of your business here. For instance, we have a couple of clients who are successfully working, who have established their entities within the park area and now successfully working providing goods and exporting goods outside the park territory to other EU member states or other EU companies, or even Russia. What are tax incentives provided according to the HES Great Stone Industrial Park tax treatment? So normally there is a corporate income tax exemption for 10 years when your company will firstly have profit. So you may set up a company having 2 years or 3 years without profit, and starting from the third year, which you declare when you declare profit, you will be able to apply tax incentives and not pay corporate income tax in Belarus. So after 10 years, you will have to pay corporate income tax decreased by 50%. So current tax rate is 18%, and so decreased by 50%, which is 9%. Also, there is a withholding tax exemption on dividend income. So you will have not to pay withholding tax on dividends distributed by the company located in Great Stone to the shareholders for 5 years. So no withholding tax on dividends at all. And of course, there are no taxes on facilities located within the territory of park. These taxes are property and land tax. Your company is exempted from these taxes until 2062. So the entire specific treatment of Great Stone and duration of this treatment is until 2062. Now we're moving forward to provide a brief insight into opportunities that are offered by the state to companies located in free economic zones. There are 6 zones currently in Belarus. Each zone is located within a region. So we have 6 regions in Belarus, and basically one free economy zone is per region. So in order to make use of the preferential treatment provided by free economic zone, you have to set up a company first. And that company should have an address within the free economic zone territory. Afterward, you need to agree on location of a production facilities, prepare a business plan, and apply for a free economic zone membership to free economic zone administration. So this is kind of technical process, and it normally takes up to, let's say, from 1 to 2 or 3 months, depending on the circumstances and the volume of your project. So the minimum amount of investments to be registered as a free economic zone resident is limited to 5,000 5,000 US dollars or equivalent. So what are other important points to consider here is that the tax exemptions provided by free economic zone residents, these are full exemption from corporate income tax, real estate land tax, and of course full exemption on custom duties and VAT. And these exemptions are provided only if you have the goods produced within the territory of free economic zone, and you have the goods sold outside Belarus, exported either to European Union, either to Russia, either to any other country, or you have the goods sold to other free economic zone residents. So it can be this, though free economic zone where your company and production facility is located, or any other zone within the territory of Belarus. What else to consider here? Or another preferential treatment which is offered to companies, mainly local or mainly small or mid-sized businesses, which are located in the so-called secondary towns or rural areas. We have the specific list of such areas or so-called secondary towns, mainly with a population of less than 5,000 inhabitants. And the state here offers some tax benefits, especially corporate income tax benefit, land tax, and custom duties benefit to businesses located within the respective territories. Important note to consider here that tax benefits are applicable during 7 years after business setup, not as we have mentioned for Great Stone companies, for the companies residents to Great Stone. So in that case, the companies are entitled to apply corporate income tax benefit starting from the first profitable year. Here we see the benefit that is applicable within 7 years after the company formation, regardless of whether you have first, second, or third year profitable or not. And the core business to which tax incentives are applicable in small and medium towns or secondary towns is selling of own production goods, performing works or services. So, for instance, when you are going to purchase the assets or purchase the goods and resell them, then this treatment or this opportunity is definitely not your case in Belarus. So, speaking about investment or public-private partnership agreements, you may consider this opportunity when your business is somehow related to infrastructure facilities. So requirements for signing these agreements are definitely are described in the specific legislation. So there are the list of the requirements which we need to follow in order which your company needs to follow in order to sign the agreement, to agree the terms of the agreement with the state or with the governmental official who is generally the counterparty of the agreement. So, and you are allowed to agree as much tax incentives as possible. So, for instance, corporate income tax exemption, full deduction of input VAT credits, decreased amount of social taxes payable by your payable on payroll of your employees, and so on and so forth. So, finally, what we have discussed today, or just to sum up what we have discussed. Please kindly note that in most cases, preferential treatment provide an exemption from main corporate taxes, which we have in Belarus. These are 80% corporate income tax, 20% VAT, land tax, and real estate tax, which is currently 1% on taxable objects. Speaking about real estate tax, land tax, these are there are two different options to pay to assess tax base for this tax, but these are generally technical matters which is not add much value to our today's presentation. So if you have some specific technical matters, you could address them later on to us. What to mention in addition is that no matter which option you choose, and when making assessment of the pros and cons of your business and whether to expand to Belarus or not, please consider 3 key points. You need to think about the optimal form of business presence and the territory where you're going to set up a company or to locate production facility. Another significant point is that how to fund the company, the funding options. Either to apply equity financing or debt financing or just direct injections to the share capital and so on and so forth. And of course, another significant point to consider here is that you should carefully assess tax and legal treatment of respective operations and transactions. Please kindly also note that we at Schneider Group are totally prepared to support your business initiatives in Belarus by providing our local expertise and significant local knowledge for the growth of your business. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. And should you have any questions, we could address them later on. And now I'm passing the microphone back to Oleg. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Sergei. But we are a little bit faster than on our reglement. And I have a question to you and Natalia. The companies from which European countries are your mostly clients, and in which sector the activity are located in Belarus?
Yes, Natalia, if you don't mind, I will comment briefly. Thank you, Oleg, for your question. So, from our client portfolio, we have German companies, Austrian companies, what else? Companies from Netherlands. So we have been working with companies from Netherlands, from Poland, from US, from UK.
Greece as well.
Yeah, thanks. As concerns location of facilities where our clients have their business in Belarus. So we have some clients located at Greystone. So we have couple of clients located that have their local development centers located or registered with High Tech Park. So we also have some potential clients who are considering establishing business, and they are now thinking about which territory to choose. So, for instance, they are thinking about free economic zone, Greystone, or High Tech Park. So these are
generally high technology companies, or you have some maybe agriculture company too from European Union.
Agricultural companies, I would not, Natalia, please correct me if I'm wrong. So no agricultural companies, or no companies from forestry. We have industrial engineering company. Mm-hmm. So our client, we have IT companies. We have, let's say, companies who are selling goods, owned goods, or who are resellers. So mainly from retail and consumer sector. Mm-hmm. We have some companies from engineering and construction, or engineering companies. So what else?
Wood industry, wood industry.
Yes, wood processing industry, engineering and construction mentioned already. Yeah. Let me check.
This is the most.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My question was.
So we had frankly speaking, we had no experience working with agricultural companies, agricultural investors in Belarus, but we did have some cases when we offered our services to these companies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sergei. It was just to more involve our participant to understand what are the Schneider Group companies in Belarus are. And I will pass then the floor to Jeroom you will be the first let's say Belgian witness businessman from Belgium, who is traveling a lot to Belarus. And I think the question today also is, for example, in Russia, it's practically impossible to come inside for business visa, how to say it, for people with a business visa. How it's happened in Belarus? What kind of restriction today for sanitary reason are installed? And maybe you say a few words about your practice, Jeroom.
Yes, thank you, Oleg. Thank you for inviting me. I had prepared a small presentation. I think you received it. And if you can, Oleg, you may...
If you wish, okay, we was prefer to not do it with slides, but it's ready. Just a second, I will share. I prepared it already. PowerPoint. Jeroom. Just a second. Apologize. Op. Share. Did you see it?
I see it.
Okay, please.
Well, Oleg, on the next slides, I mentioned the topics I would like to discuss during this very brief presentation. So I will start with a short introduction, then say some words about the opportunities and obstacles that our Belgian clients are confronted with when they are doing business in Belarus, a little bit about our experience, what are we doing in Belarus, and then I will end with some final remarks. And if we then go to the next slide, I will start with introducing myself, although I see a lot of familiar people joining us this morning. But my name is Jeroom Joos. I'm a Belgian lawyer working for the Belgian law firm Van Hoorebeke Lawyers. We have our main office in Ghent in Belgium, and we are specialized in commercial law, transport law, and public procurement. But we also have an office in Minsk since 2009, so already more than 10 years ago, we opened our office. The reason that we opened our office in Belarus is because of our founder, Karel van Hoorebeke, who also will join us a little bit later. He had already for a long time good contacts with Belarus, and he saw in the end of the 2000s, 2008, 2009, that there was a growing interest from the Belgian business community for Belarus. And he thought it was a good idea to set up an office before all Belgian companies would come, so that we were already prepared to offer a good service to Belgian companies that are going to Belarus. And at that time, I was the young lawyer, and I got the opportunity to travel to Belarus to set up the office. Initially, it was only intended for me to be there for 3 months, but I immediately liked Belarus a lot, although I did not have any experience with Eastern Europe or Russia. I did not speak the language, but it's difficult to explain. After a couple of weeks, I already felt myself at home in Minsk. It was a very pleasant atmosphere, nice people, warm people, very difficult to adapt as a foreigner, but very, very interesting. And you feel, or I felt at that time, that there was also a fast developing mentality and environment. So it was really pleasant to go there. And in the beginning, 2009, 2010, 2011, the first years, I spent most of my time in Minsk. So I was there for 9 or 10 months per year. Gradually, I spend more time in Belgium, but now I go to Belarus every 2 months. Before COVID, I must say. Now it's of course a little bit more difficult to travel. So if we then go to the next slide, Oleg, I've mentioned Belarus on the map. When I look at the participants today, I see it's not necessary to really explain you where Belarus is located. But I remember my first presentation I gave about Belarus about 10 years ago. And immediately the people in the audience interrupted me and asked me, yeah, but can you explain us where Belarus is? It was for Belgian business people who did not have any experience in the region. And therefore, I knew that every time I gave a presentation on Belarus, I should put it on the map that people really know what we are talking about. Like I said, now today it's not really necessary, but what I wanted to point out is the geographical position, which is important. It's on the corridor between Europe and Russia. But what is also important, and Belgian business people do not always understand it, is that Belarus is very close. It's just next to Poland. An example to give you, a couple of years ago, I was talking to a Belgian businessman active in the wood industry, buying wood. And I explained him about Belarus, and he told me, yeah, but we did the business calculation for our activities for Russia, and it's too far. We cannot do it. The transport cost is too high. But then I explained, yeah, but Belarus is closer. It's not, Minsk is much closer than, for example, Moscow. It's 2,800 kilometers from Belgium. And then he recalculated his business, and he understood it was possible to do business with Belarus. And now, 2 years, he's very successful. So it was just not well understanding that Belarus is actually quite close, which causes some misunderstanding. But the demography at 10 million people, so it's not a very big market. But now in this globalized world, you should not really think about countries with borders, but you see opportunities. Belarus is a member of the Eurasian Economic Union, which has, I think, 180 million people, inhabitants. So Belarus can also give you access to Russia, to Kazakhstan. So you should not only think as Belarus as just a country. And then what about the economy? Well, I think it's important that you understand that Belarus is rather dependent on Russia. Russia is still the biggest trade partner together with the EU, but that has, of course, a big influence on the Belarusian economy. So if we then go to the next slide, Oleg, a little bit about the opportunities and obstacles. Well, the geographical position, I already mentioned that. Another big asset is the presence of qualified and skilled human capital. It was also already mentioned in the previous presentation, and I think also Filip will say the same in his presentation, because it's really one of the big assets in Belarus. You have a very good educational system. Certainly when we are talking about technical people, engineers, IT programmers, the feedback we hear from the Belgian companies that do business with Belarus is always the same. Those people are very good, well qualified. They know what they are doing. Of course, it does not mean that every Belarusian employee is a good employee. You you need people that are proactive, that are able to think outside of the box, if I may say so. So you do not want any passive people. You do not want people that don't take any initiative. That's, of course, everywhere the same thing. But in Belarus, you really can find those good people that can help you expand your business in a positive way. Then about the legal environment, that's, of course, what I'm dealing with every day. I can see that over the past 10 years, there have been a lot of improvements. I've mentioned here on my slide the numbers of the World Bank ease of doing business. And 2008, Belarus was still 115th. Now, 2019, it's number 37. And I can say from my experience, that is correct. In the beginning, it was very difficult as a foreigner to understand the legal system. Now, there have been so many improvements, which makes it much more comprehensible and makes it easier to work and to make contracts and etc. Then you also have the preferential regimes. It was also already mentioned in the previous slide, free economic zones, high technology park, which is very important for the IT companies. There are already some Belgian IT companies member of the high technology park, and Greystone. It was also mentioned in the previous slide, so I will not go into that any further. And I also mentioned the last point, Eurasian Economic Union, so that Belarus is one of the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, so it opened the gates to Russia, Kazakhstan, and the other members. So, okay, then we can go to the next slide with some of the obstacles. These are always the same points that come back, a lot of formalities. It's something that Belgian companies complain about, the fact that a lot of stamps and documents and contracts are needed. In Belgium, a Belgian company just sends an invoice to his client and expects payment when his Belarusian partner is his client, a lot of other documents will be needed. So it's a lot of work, a lot of administration. It's something you have to take into account. The language barrier, although there is a big improvement since 2010, still it is an issue. Younger people, they speak quite well English, but the problem is that the people who decide in Belarus, in most cases, this is still the older generation, and they have not that knowledge of English as the younger people do. To give you an example, there is now a Belgian man in Minsk. He's there for a couple of months trying to set up a business. He told me that he met a lot of young people of a company he wants to work with. He said, yeah, I've explained everything to those people. They understand me. I think we can start. But now he feels that it's slowing down. And why? Because yeah, those young people, they are not the ones who decide. It's the big boss on top who decides. And he never had the opportunity to have a discussion, a conversation with the director in English. So that is still a barrier. Then there are special regulations. Of course, you have to take into account if you want to send alcohol or you want to open a restaurant, you have to go to special procedures, and they can be quite cumbersome. And then another big point of attention is, of course, the business code. It's something that I experience all the time when a Belgian company is traveling for the first time to Belarus. They have their own agenda. They have a list with things they want to find out. And that's the way they start a meeting. And at the end of the meeting with the Belarusian partner, they want to know, can we do business or not? But that's not really the business approach of the Belarusian counterparts. They take more time. They want to build trust, confidence before starting a cooperation. And that's difficult for Belgian companies to understand. They have a business trip to Minsk. They have a good result. They think they know, they have all the information they need. And then in the end, they get a request from the Belarusian partner to come back in a couple of months to further negotiate. And it's often the case that the Belgian companies don't really understand why it's necessary. But we have now the experience that the Belgian companies that we met 10 years ago were also complaining about the fact that their patience was being tested. They are now very satisfied about their cooperation with Belarusian companies because they can really trust each other. They have gone through that initial phase of building trust, and now it's actually a very good foundation of their cooperation. Okay, then the next slide, Oleg. Very quickly, what are we doing in Belarus? Well, we are helping our clients with contracts and documentation, and most of the time it's related to import and export. That's maybe 80% of the work we do. It's about Belgian and Belarusian companies that are doing trade with each other. Then we also have some questions concerning labor law, especially when foreigners want to work in Belarus. Some procedures need to be followed. There are all kinds of registration procedures that we give assistance with, also some assistance during tender procedures. And then real estate, we have now, or we see now more and more Belgian people that are interested in buying real estate in Belarus, and then we also try to help. So that's really the first part about trade. Second part is when Belgian companies want to invest in Belarus, and then they want to have their own legal presence. Then they can open a rep office or a limited liability company, an OOO. And that is where I gave the example that Belarus is improving in the ranks of doing business. Opening an office in Belarus is actually quite easy. It's even more easy than in Belgium. So it's certainly one of the improvements we have seen over the years. And then what we also do is help Belgian companies when they are interested in buying an existing Belarusian company, because that is also a possible way of getting your presence in Belarus. So then the next slide, and that's the final slide, well, no, not yet. And it's also about our experience, yeah, the dispute resolution, we try to avoid that. We don't encourage our Belgian clients to start procedures in Belarus. We try to help them and advise them to work out a commercial solution. But if it is necessary, then we can start a procedure. We therefore use the help or assistance of litigation lawyers in Belarus. And the experience we have, although it's quite small, it's positive. It goes quite fast, the procedure in Belarus, and the quality of the judgments are actually very good. Then, yeah, practical issues. We get a lot of questions concerning visa, traveling, finding location for renting an apartment or an office, that sort of thing. We also try to help, of course, when we get that sort of questions. And then what I also mentioned is the assistance we give to Belarusian companies active in Belgium. That was not our original idea when we opened our office in Minsk. The idea was to help Belgian companies that are active in Belarus. But now we get more and more questions from Belarusian companies that are active in Belarus or that have problems in Belgium. And yeah, they can contact our office in Minsk to speak in Russian, and then we can help them here with our office in Ghent. So that is also something we do. And then we have some activities on the side, if I may say so, which are not directly related to our legal assistance we give as a law firm. We also help and support all kinds of trade delegations. That was, of course, the case before COVID, but we've seen a big evolution in that. In the beginning, when we started our office 2010 until 2015, I think, there were almost no trade delegations. We had to organize them ourselves. But then in 2015, there was a change, and every year, Flanders Investment and Trade started to organize missions to Belarus, and AWEX as well. So there was a big change that we felt that the interest between Belgian and Belarus business community was growing. We also try to organize and participate in seminars, exhibitions. There is also now a growing cooperation on the academic and scientific level. For example, the University of Ghent has some contacts with universities in Belarus. Also, the University in Mons in Belgium has very good contacts with Belarusian universities. And then finally, we also are present on cultural and sport events. Tonight, this evening, there is a football game, Belgium against Belarus. Normally, we should organize something to go and watch with all the friends of Belarus living in Belgium, but now it's, of course, much more difficult. But there will be a return match in September in Belarus, and hopefully times are better and we can organize something around that event. So then I come to the final slide. Some just final remarks. What are the tips we have learned from our experience? Well, very important is to have a local partner, somebody who can explain you what is going on. Your success in Belarus often depends on the quality of your local partner. That is, yeah, you have to be a little bit lucky, I think, to find a good partner. You have to take some time to find a good partner, but it's really very important. The importance of accountancy, because of the strict accountancy rules, and I can only confirm what Sergei said in his presentation. It's very important. You also have to learn from the experience of other companies. For example, there is a Belgian company that has a presence in Belarus and is enjoying the preferable tax regime, but now they are confronted with problems in Belgium when they want to send their dividends to Belgium, because it needs to be explained to the Belgian tax administration how the Belarus tax system works, and therefore you really need a good Belarusian accountant to give you all the information that you need for the Belgian administration. A thing you have to take into account is that legislation changes very often, and that also the environment is fast developing. I've seen it myself when I compare Belarus to now to 10 years ago. There is really a big difference, a positive change. I remember when I was there in 2009, 2010, I was, as a foreigner, a rarity. There were not so many foreigners. I remember when I went to the gym around the corner and I did not speak any Russian. People were looking at me at the gym, what I was doing there. They really thought I was like a lost foreigner. Now in the same gym, 10 years later, you have a lot of foreign people. You have even signs in English, and that's only in a period of 10 years that really lots changed. So there is a new generation, young people who travel to speak English. So that is also, of course, having an impact on the society. And then to end with, one of the biggest things you have to take into account is the business attitude. I've now had quite some experience with Belgian companies that went for the first time to Belarus, and I can quite soon say if they will be successful in Belarus or not, because it also depends on their own attitude. If the Belgian company goes to Belarus and really wants things as he's used to, and is not opening to other mentalities and other ideas, it will be very, very difficult. You have to adapt, you have to be flexible, and you have to understand that what is important in Belgium is maybe not so important in Belarus. What is important in Belarus is the equality between the two partners, the trust, so that there can be a confidence, a build of confidence. So I think, yeah, that was my last slide. I, of course, will be happy to answer any further questions after the presentations.
No, thank you, Jeroom. It was very, very interesting, really. And I would like just to say that Schneider Group also will share the slides with you. I will do it after the meeting today. Filip, wish you continue with the slides or without slides, please?
Oh, we'll do without the slides, because I was going to talk about practical things. Greetings from the historical city of Brugge, as you can see. But I just came back from Minsk, so I live, let's say, 3 weeks in Brugge and then 1 week in Minsk. Perhaps I will tell you a bit about my experience, because I'm already 25 years there. And what to do. First, something for the people. Most of the people know me already, but I tell something about myself very quickly. So I'm an engineer in biochemistry, specialization in beer and wine, these nice things. Been very long time purchaser for a very big supermarket chain, European, more than 5,000 shops. And I was asked in 93, to start a supermarket chain in Russia. I was very luckily successful. The good thing was that I lost 20 kilograms in 2 months, but it went quite good. The crisis came, and unfortunately, I learned one big lesson. Normally during a crisis, you have to stay, not to leave. So it could have been another development, but I shouldn't complain, really. I also had then 2 years around 2000 in Ukraine, also a supermarket chain and a restaurant chain. So it has to do with distribution. And in 2000, so that's already 21 years ago, I was asked to reorganize a wood processing company in a Belgian wood processing company in Belarus. I didn't want to do it so much, but because it was not really my field, wood processing, garden furniture, but it was successful. So I could reorganize this wood processing company into a successful exporting company, 160 people, 250 trucks of finished goods, stuff like this. In the meantime, I was planning only to do this for 3 years, but at the end of the day, I was 16 years working for this company. 2004, I had the honor to be asked to be Honorary Consul of Belgium in Belarus. So I did this for 16 years. Did this very with a lot of pleasure and also with a lot of success. And in the meantime, I didn't only work for this wood processing company, but also for other companies coming to Belarus, help them, mainly on a honorific base. And to be honest, mainly it was problem solving. I'm talking about the years 2000, 2015. So it was not always that easy. Often it was problems with customs, with misunderstanding, shares. So it wasn't really the thing which I was hoping for to do. I can't say it's negative. I solved problems, even very, very big problems for very big companies, Samsung, Ferrero. But I prefer to build things. So this wood processing companies was very successful. But I decided, because I'm not so young as you might not perhaps think, I decided what I wanted to do. So 2 years ago, I decided to stop as Honorary Consul, also this wood processing company, not to reorganize, but now I'm mainly busy with durable development in the sphere of agro. It's very large. It's even including wood processing companies, also ingredients for the agro industry, working for very, very big companies, very big investments. What I also like to tell that in this previous periods, I was quite proud because I was very active as Honorary Consul. So I did a lot of humanitarian social events. I tried to attract as much people. At the end of the period, I helped about 3,500 companies and people. Did quite some cultural and economical events like business, European business clubs and so on. I think most of the people remember me for the parties I gave. But it's networking, it's very important. And not to forget the trades from between Belgium and Belarus. It increased for 2005. It's not only my merit, it was together with FIT and the companies. From 2005, it increased from 150 million to 500 million. It was more than France even. So we're very successful in having a strategy how to find connect companies, not selling chocolate and beer, but machinery, stuff which is needed on both sides. I really believe that it should be going on both sides. Like I tell you now, I'm busy with very big, the trade was very successful, but the investments very little. I think 1 year it was 500,000 Belgium investment to Belarus. It's nothing. It's my car, it's my apartment. It's really nothing. So to be realistic, there were very, very few Belgium investments. It was only my company was, and I was even closing several investments, not because it went wrong, but at a certain point, you know, after 15 years, you get good profit, good gains, but then you have to decide, shall I reinvest? Shall I put, shall I continue? And this has a lot of aspects. So in these cases, in the wood processing company, we decided not to continue. But what do I see now? That big investments are coming. So I'm doing, again, everything to do with the geostrategical position of Belarus. Very important companies. I'm talking about investment between 20 and 100 million euro. So it is really significant. I see these companies which are in the sphere of e-commerce and wood processing, companies who sees, okay, before we have a production plan in China, with the Corona crisis, it's getting a bit more tricky. So Belarus, it has the wood, it has the people. Let's try to work closer. This is one project. Other project to do with agro, because Belarus is very, very strong in high developed agro, not only for finished products and so on, added value product, but also to the Chinese market. So now I see a very, very big, I'm very busy since 2 years, but really with blue chip companies and on level of the owners or the boards to develop this model. So I like to do this, but I'm quite busy to it, but I just try to limit myself a little bit in time because I like my life very much. I like to enjoy my life. And my specialty is making beer, making wine, making cheese. I like to do this, also this social aspect, but it doesn't bring a lot. But this is also a very big part from my time. I want to do also a lot of social projects. So this has to do with local tourism, restoration of castles, making local ecological products, trying to sell them. These are just for fun, to be honest, because this requires investment. I'm talking there about 1,000 or 10,000 euros, so it's nothing. But for me, it is very important, and like Jeroom also told, the image or the trust of Belarus is very important. So people know me already 22 years, they know what I'm behind, and also they see what I'm doing. So I get so much support from this, also so much support from my project, that I'm very, very satisfied. It is true, I can attest them during this time. It was not easy, but the people are wonderful. They're very strong. They're very. They have a European mentality, not a Russian mentality. With all respect, but they are very closer to Europe way of thinking. What is also remarkably, I see there's also a guy from Switzerland here. The people, if they come, they say it's so clean, it's so orderly, it's like Switzerland of the region. And it is true, they're very, 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 very orderly and clean. And I think I've heard so many investors, and it's sometimes the first thing which they are looking, even banks are looking to, is the place orderly? You see immediately it can be done. It's a serious company. So I think this is a very, very important asset, together with the geostrategical position of Belarus, also towards the Euro-Asian Economical Union and in the new Silk Roads. This will be very, very, very important. This role is developing. I really believe there will be Belgium and Holland will be an important hub for agrobulk in the new Silk Roads, as well will be Belarus. And I'm developing this, this project, but talking about several hundred of millions, but I would invite you to see me see the results in some years. I'm sure it will be done. What I also would like to add on what is good on Belarus, it's the corruption is very low. You can do business on an orderly way. It is very thought around. Okay, it's depending on what is the definition of corruption, but I never had this problem like I had in Ukraine, or you can work, you have make deals. But what is very important, it goes quite slowly. Structural changes are very slow. It is a small market. This is a bit negative. It has a very negative image. So often you're told you have to explain where it is. So I also had this question, a whole presentation, and then where is it? Where is it? So the image is not so good. And also what you see on the press, I just come there so often. I'm not a politician, so I don't want to tell anything about it. It's not my country. But sometimes I see things which you say, it's like, I don't know what's going on. It's not like you see on the television. I feel very peaceful. Okay, I see some manifestation, but it is not sometimes like you see on the news. The same goes what I see sometimes in the news in Minsk or in Moscow or in Brussels. It's not a reality always. So if you're a businessman and a person of the world, you also know that the balance is a little bit in the middle. What I also, for the people who are interested in Belarus, you have to consider what you want to do, because it's a quite big difference between a small investment, I would say 1 million, 10 million maximum. This goes quite easy. You don't have problem. You have a low profile. But if you're in bigger investments, like I'm doing now, 20 to 100 million, even more, you have to consider the interest of Belarus. So it is for me very important in the jobs I'm doing to convince the government that the project, and luckily they are, this project are interesting for Belarus. They will give added value. The Belarus, I understand it perfectly. They really hate that they have resources, good products like wood, I would say, that it would go, this wood will be exported to China to build their type of rubbish or perhaps good furniture, and then be sold, exported. It's better that the production is closer, and that the production, the added value is also done in Belarus. So if this is very important, if you can convince that it is in the interest of the Belarusian in the supply chain, that the added value, that there will be employment, that there, it's good for nature, that it is good for Corona. And there's a lot of arguments which came with the Corona crisis. Just to tell, for instance, transport, if you could replace a train by trucks, it's 40 trucks in a train, so 40 drivers, it can help a lot. So if you can convince the government, not the government, it can be regional authorities and your partner, that you bring added value with your investment, you get everything done. It works very, very fine. I'm busy now with a huge investment program, which I thought it will take a year to get the process. In 2 months, I'm almost finished. It's and I'm talking about 100 million investment project. So I'm quite happy. And again, I must confirm what is important to go find good advice, good partners. Take your time. You need strategic time. You need trust to build trust. And it's the same with your friends. A lot of people I know already 15 years or 20 years even, know me all the time. So this is a complete other issue than this is the first time you met, or you met them during a month. This is in Belgium like this, but this is very more, it's in Russia, and I also believe in Russia and in Belarus. Local presence, you need quite often to come back. And I would say a bit low profile. It's a little bit depending on, not to be arrogant and to say, okay, we're into business, we want to win something. It's on the other side, you must also understand the other party also want to win something, and then you can do very good business. So this was a little bit in a nutshell, a resume of my experience of 25 years already in the area, 26 already. And I'm planning another 20 years to stay there. But not,
Bravo,
I just
Filip,
want to do what I like to do.
Thank you,
And
thank
I
you,
will
thank you.
invite you for
Thank
my
you very much. I think you answered many of questions which our participants had, and I would like just to mention that you know, it's true. We don't have to look on the TV. We have to more organize such kind of event on our web launch to exchange the point of view and the true situation. If some participant has some questions, please just unmute your microphone. Feel free. We are all equal on this web launch. No.
So may I just make some comments, Embassy of Belarus?
Yes, Ekaterina, please.
So my name is Katerina.
Maybe you can say a few words also about the travel restriction situation. Please.
Yes, just some general comments. So my name is Katerina Shatokhina. So I'm trade representative of Belarus to the European Union, just in general. So work at the Embassy of Belarus in Belgium. Unlike the embassies of other countries, embassies of Belarus, all the embassies have their own trade representatives. That is why just one more opportunity for all of you just to get some information about trade partners in Belarus, about some conditions, ways, and so on and so on. So to address to our embassy, just I will write in chat our address, so or just, you can just visit our site. So maybe to find some information or just to ask a question. So you are welcome. To speak about the attractiveness of the Belarusian market, I would say that there is a unique opportunity while you locate your investments in Belarus and you manufacture some goods, so you get the access to the whole market, as Jeroom said, of the Eurasian Economic Union. So, for example, just like an example, if your goods passed through customs procedures, so you can supply your goods on the whole territory without additional duties. Or for example, if you produce something in Belarus, you can pay duties on your choice. So on raw materials or on the ready goods. So you will calculate what is more profitable for you. So, and after that, you can as well supply for the whole territory of the Eurasian Economic Union. So it's one of the examples. Our ambassador is fully involved in economic questions. So if you like to have some meetings with us, just, of course, you are welcome. We can propose you something. We will try to help you. As for visiting of Belarus during these not easy times, So as well, we can help you. So we can, if your visit, and of course your visit are essential, we can provide you with the papers to exempt you from self-isolation. So you can just spend some time in Belarus without quarantine measures. So just I will provide you with our address. We are welcome you, and we are very interested in our close cooperation, in our trade ties. So hope you, once you visit Belarus, you try to do business with Belarus, you will be quite happy with it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ekaterina. But you know, we was in 2018 with a large business delegation to Minsk. We was also visited the Great Stone, the high-tech parks, and the impression was very, very good. And I believe as soon as the condition will allow us, we will repeat the business mission. And I hope we will see with us few participants of our meetings of today. If there is a question, please do not hesitate, just unmute your microphone. We are a little bit out of time already. We planned to make it in 1 hour. But anyway, Laurent, you appear to ask a question, or you appear just to say bye-bye? But I know you are also so active in Belarus too. But thank you very much then, all of you. I will share, of course, the slides today with all the participants. I will also share the contact details of Ekaterina of the Belarus Embassy with you. Thank you very much. Thank you to join us. We will try to organize on 8th of April a small webinar with some responsible from the immigration service in Russia about the condition to entering Russia in the next months. It's also very important because we have few members which really needs to visit Moscow, and unfortunately it's still impossible today without maintenance contracts or some family links with Russia. Thank you very much again. Hope to see you soon, Filip, Natalia, Jeroom, Sergei, but all of you, Arkady Andreevich, Laurent, what I see, Mr. Cooper. We was together, I remember, in the business mission once. I believe you will join us again, maybe to the mission to Belarus on the next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you very much. Jeroom, Saite, you are very good. Huh? I like it. I like it, your presentation. I wish even now myself to invest in Belarus.
No, thank you for organizing. And then I noted 8th of April for the next meeting.
Yeah, we not yet know the exactly time, but we will try to organize this with the Moscow region government, just to explain what is possible, what is not possible, and etc. Arkady Andreevich, have a nice afternoon.
Oui, non, j'ai une très bonne soirée. J'avais juste une question, mais je vois que l'ambassade a disparu. Zut. Bon, je contacterai. Jérôme, ça va? Oui. Juste une question, peut-être que tu sais. Est-ce que le Bélarus vend du blé?
Est-ce que quoi?
Le Bélarus vend du blé.
Du blé? Non, ça, je ne sais pas.
Je ne sais pas.
C'est une question.
C'est ça que je voulais poser à l'ambassade parce que j'ai une demande pour le Soudan.
Bah, c'est possible, mais je ne sais pas la réponse, malheureusement.
Ok, mais je vais téléphoner à comment elle s'appelle la nouvelle? J'ai oublié.
Ekaterina.
Ekaterina. Et famille, comment?
C'était très bien hein, qu'il s'est intervenu. Je pense que c'était bien poli aussi.
Oui,
hein, donc...
il est très accessible.
Ouais.
charmante. Vous pouvez...
On a eu un Zoom meeting avec elle le mois passé, très intéressant. Hein? Mais c'est comme ça que j'avais appris